Michael, German Curriculum, Chapter 2, Section 5, Vocabulary, Section G25. Wie alt bist du? That means how old are you? How old be you, so to speak. Anyway, how old are you is what it really means. Wie alt sind Sie? Well, means the same thing. It's just formal as opposed to familiar. Ich bin so and so many years, Jahre alt. Ich bin, whatever, 16 Jahre alt, for example. 16 years old. I am 16 years old, or whatever. Du bist, you be, which of course is you are in modern English. Ist, or sie ist, that would mean he is or she is. And then we have schön, which is pretty. We have hässlich, which is ugly. Comes from the word Hass, which means hatred. And it is used that way too. It can be the ugly appearance, or let's say an ugly thing to say. You know, that would be a hateful or ugly thing. It's kind of related. Sehr is very, and or much, or whatever. Interessant is interesting. Alt is old. Jung is young. 100 is 100. And der Freund is the friend. Die Freunde is the friends. And die Freundin, if you add an IN at the end, that's girlfriend. Now, those are romantic or platonic, depending on the age and the situation. If two little kids are saying, das ist mein, if a girl is saying, das ist mein Freund, and they're little kids, well, it's not, obviously, romantic. But if she's older, then she could say, das ist mein Freund, and it would infer boyfriend. Same thing in reverse. If a little boy has a friend that's a girl, she could be a Freundin. But later on, if he was saying that was his girlfriend, he would also say, das ist meine Freundin. And so anyway, that's how that is in German, and it's kind of that way in English as well. So, except you add boy and girl in front of it in English. Okay, the story continues here. So Herr Schmidt and Sabine bumped into each other in the last section, so they apologized to each other, and that was basically it. Okay, so here in this picture sequence, well, let's first talk about the picture sequence and then go to the text. The pictures are that they have bumped into each other. He must ask her how old she is. She answers that she is 16. And how old are you? She asks. He says something, that he's 26 or whatever, and that Michael says something about him, and he's like, Michael, who's that? So anyway, that's what's going on here. Now let me read it once in German, and then I'll translate. Okay, here we go. First picture, obviously the beginning. Herr Schmidt fragt, wie alt bist du, Sabine? Sabine sagt, ich bin 16 Jahre alt. Herr Schmidt sagt, du bist jung und schön. Danke, sagt Sabine. Und wie alt sind Sie? Herr Schmidt sagt, ich bin 26 Jahre alt. Sabine sagt, oh, Sie sind auch jung und sehr schön. Mein Freund Michael sagt, Sie sind alt und hässlich. Herr Schmidt sagt, Michael sagt das? Interessant. Okay, so what that is it says Herr Schmidt, so Mr. Smith, or Herr Schmidt, asks, how old are you, Sabine? Sabine says, I am 16 years old. Herr Schmidt says, you are young and pretty. Jung und schön. Thank you, or thanks, says Sabine. And how old are you? She asks him. But she says Sie because he's older, so it has to be formal. Unless the elder has said, okay, you can say du to me, kind of like if, oh, it's all right, call me by my first name. It's kind of like that, same sort of difference. Anyway, Herr Schmidt sagt, ich bin 26 Jahre alt, means, of course, Herr Schmidt says that he is 26 years old. Sabine asks, oh, you are also young and very pretty. It's not really something you say about men. You would say handsome, or charmant, charming, or, whatever. There are different ways of, schön is not usually, but just for sake of simplicity, they've done it and said schön. just because that's a word you just learned. So anyway, mein Freund Michael sagt, so being that she's 16, her friend, her Freund, is then going to be her boyfriend. If she were 6 years old, that would be different. But anyway, mein Freund Michael sagt, Sie sind alt und hässlich. So my boyfriend Michael says you are old and ugly. And Herr Schmidt says, Michael says that? Michael sagt das? Interessant, interesting. So we will see where that story goes in the next upcoming sections.